Yo, what is going on? I pronounce it. It's eBay, right? Like eBay.
Yes, yes,
All
like
right, good.
eBay.com.
Good. How are you doing, brother?
Pretty good. Just settling back in and getting doing some stuff. How about yourself? I
Man,
seen you
pretty
had,
much the same.
yeah, just got most of my stuff put back up and just getting things together.
Yeah, brother. Absolutely, man. Yeah, this has been a busy week, man. It's been just capitalizing on everything that, we experienced and relationships that we conjured while we were there. So it's been a busy 36 hours or so. Really good though. Like really good.
Definitely. A lot of reflecting as well.
Oh my gosh, dude, yes, 100%. What was your biggest takeaway?
My biggest takeaway, one of my biggest takeaways, okay, you can hear me. One of my
Yeah.
biggest takeaways is that one of the things that I think was I had a barrier that was blocking, um, not feeling worthy enough. Like, and so after thinking about it and having time to think, just feeling worthy to be able to make money, large amounts of money, because I've made
Mm,
money. I've done different types of work, and
yeah.
I've made money, but from my childhood, I've had a lot of different things, and the way I view things and different things, it allowed for me to just look at things from a different lens,
Hmm.
compared to what I've been looking at, how I've been looking at it, and just knowing that you are worthy enough to have more and do more.
Wow.
Um, so that was
Dude, I
one of my big
applaud you, bro.
takeaways.
I applaud you big time because that specifically for me was something that was really difficult for me to get over as well.
Mhm.
I was raised, I don't know, I've shared this with some of you guys, but I was raised in the way I like to paint the picture here is I was raised in a Christian household.
Me as
Couldn't
well.
say couldn't say any cuss words. My mom used to, and I'll never forget this. I don't. It's so stuck with me. As a matter of fact, it's the title of my book that I'm writing. But she said there's no four-letter words in my house. Now, of course, she's talking about cuss words. Most cuss words are four-letter words. And she's like,
Yes.
there are no cuss words allowed in my house. And it always stuck with me because eBay for the longest time, dude, I always thought that making money was something to be opposed. It
Mhm.
was something that was dirty. It was taboo. It was greedy. Why on earth would you want to make more money? Do you think you're better than anybody? Are you not grateful for what you have? If you want to go make more, look, don't ask anybody, Jesse, how to go make more. Look, if you want to go make more money, go get a job. And if you want to make more money in that job, then you can work overtime. You can
Mhm.
work your way up that corporate ladder. If you want to
Yeah.
make more money, then how about you join the Air Force? Go let them pay for your college. Go get a college degree and then go make more money that way. Go
Mm.
work 40 to 50 hours a week for 40 to 50 years and then retire. That's a good life, Jesse. That is a good life. Jesse, if you can figure out how to make $100,000 a year, by golly, Miss Molly, you will be set. You'll be set for the rest of your life. And that's how I was raised. It sounds maybe something a little similar to
Oh
how you were
yes,
raised?
I was raised in church. Was raised. My grandfather was a contractor. My father, he worked on the farm,
Mm-hmm.
bringing different migrants and different people to work
Mm-hmm.
for the farm owners. And as a kid, I started working when I was like 14 on the potato graders, cabbage, and then later on, I've worked like 17 years in like industrial work. I used to build houses and just
Mm-hmm.
work hard, work long hours. And
Yep.
so that is my background. I'm used to working super hard and working long hours. But over the last, I say 20, 25 years, I haven't seen major growth from that. Like I could
Mm.
buy things, but it's not fulfilling because like I have 7 kids and I want so much
You got
for my kids.
seven?
Yes.
You got 7 kids? I don't know anybody that has more kids than I do. Man, you are blessed. I love that. Okay, sorry, continue. That about threw myself off the rocker. I had to make sure I heard you right. Seven? Seven?
Yes.
Man,
So
good for you.
I have 6 boys and 1 girl, and my oldest is 25. But um
Bro, you're 25.
now 40, about to be 44 next month.
Man, you have fooled all of us.
Oh, thank you. And so one of my biggest things is I don't want them to have to feel like they have to work so hard. My son, as soon as he turned 18, I put him in the working field and he been working hard. And so I've kind of taught them over the years, they always see me either go out of town and work all the time, work. And when I had time, I'd take them
Mhm.
and go to Disney or go somewhere and have fun. But most of the time it's work. And so I
Mhm.
missed out on so much. So I just always felt like, okay, I gotta just work hard. I just gotta work hard.
Right. And so now you're changing, you've had a perspective shift. It sounds like Squat Up had a really big impact on that as well.
Oh, most definitely.
Dude, I love to hear that. I love that. You know, I'll share with you, dude. One time, this was maybe about 4.5 years ago or so, maybe. It was early on into my entrepreneurial journey, and I felt weird because that's all anybody was talking about. Everybody was talking about making money. And I felt weird about it, dude. Like who I live in Alaska. Who am I going to go talk to about making money?
Yeah.
And so it felt so weird. So even if I was, it's like, man, if I want to learn more about money, I'm gonna have to connect with people on like social media about it, which means I'm gonna have to make posts about it. But then, what if my coworkers see me? What if my boss sees me? What if my family sees me? Like, what are they going to think? How's that gonna come off? I'm over here just trying to learn how I can get a little bit more money, but then they're gonna judge me, and I don't want them to judge me. So I'm having all of these thoughts. I'm having these really conflicting thoughts because of how I grew up and I cared what everybody thought about me. Is there put a one in the chat by the way? Is there anybody else that resonates with this? Is there anybody else that's on this journey of like wanting more and knowing that you're not only capable but you're deserving of it? But then it's also kind of like awkward and it's weird and it's like, do I share it? If I do, how much do I share? Who am I sharing it with? What are we talking about? What's the context? I'll tell you guys what, it was so hard for me. And eBay, I was on my home from the it was on my way home from the gym one day. I'm actually going to pull this up so I love to share this with you. Here we go. I was on my way home from the gym. Now, between us gals, okay, I don't tell people this, but I'm an 80s rocker, okay? 80s like all like Metallica, like Van Halen, Def Leppard, AC/DC. That's what I listen to. But on this particular day, eBay, I was on my way home and I was listening to Lady Gaga. Don't tell anybody I said that. That part is going to be edited. I won't tell. This stays here, right? This is a safe space. Okay. So I was listening to Lady Gaga and this song "Born This Way" came on. eBay, are you familiar with that song?
What's the name of it?
It's called "Born This Way."
Mm, not right offhand. If I
Okay.
probably heard the lyrics, I maybe.
I bet if you listen to the song, you'd be like, "Yep, I have heard this walking through J.C. Penney about 10 million times." Anyway, so this song came on, and it's the context of it. It's a song for um people who, oh, I guess you could kind of sum it. I don't want to like, for me it had a different meaning. I'll let you go look into what I think the intent of it was. Um but for me it had a different meaning on this day. When I heard it, I'd never heard it interpreted the way I'm going to share it with you before. And some lyrics in it are, now again, given the context, right? I was like trying to figure out how do I finish scaling this business? How do I go make more money? How do I do all these things? But I'm having all these conflicting thoughts. And these lyrics popped out. They said, and I started crying when I heard this. And as a matter of fact, as soon as I got home, I was on my way home from the gym. As soon as I got home, I went and put a piece of content out about it. It may even be on my YouTube somewhere, like years down, but it said, "There's nothing wrong with loving who you are," she said, "'cause he made you perfect, babe. So hold your head up, girl, and you'll go far. Listen to me when I say, I'm beautiful in my way, 'cause God makes no mistakes. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way. Don't hide yourself in regret. Just love yourself and you're set. I'm on the right track, baby. I was born this way." And it almost gives me goosebumps just kind of reliving that experience. But for me, it was almost like I learned so much from just listening to that song. I started having all these thoughts, and I thought, man, the struggle that I'm going through, um, caring what other people think about me, not putting myself out there, playing small, thinking small, not sharing my experiences with people. Um, those are all opportunities that I'm missing, and I put this big picture, this big vision, this big thing that I want to happen. I told God, hey, this is what I want to do. This is what I want my impact on the world to be. This is how I want to serve people. This is how I want to take care of my family. This is how I want to retire my parents. And when you put that out there to God, when you put that out to the universe, it has this way of like saying, okay, you wanted it, right? And so that's when people start talking shit about you. That's when people start, criticizing you, or you tell people you want to make more money, and then that's when people start, uh, you know, passing their own limiting beliefs onto you. But those are the types of things that have to happen in order for you to get to a point up here. Now, you remember Pace talking about, just as an example, you remember how Pace was talking about there are other grown men out there that are using his face, that are paying to use his face on their own ads. Like, how wild is that? Pretty crazy. But to get to that level, those are things that you've got to be okay with. There's a good and a bad that comes with it. And eBay, I truly believe that the things that you want to accomplish, the people that you want to serve, the money that you want to make because of all the good that you can do with it, that was planted and that was given to you. And you were born that way. And there's nothing freaking wrong with it. You know, Dean Graziosi, when he was talking, if you remember, did you watch Dean? I think it was Dean because he had
Yeah,
the glasses on. He was talking about how when you have your own prescription glasses, you can see clearly, you can see really, really good. But you take those prescription glasses off and you give them to somebody else, and it's going to be blurry. And they weren't meant to see your vision.
definitely.
That was meant for you. And so it's just as somebody who has already passed that phase. I just wanted to let you know that I can absolutely relate with that takeaway from leaving Squad Up Summit and how it applied to me. And I really applaud you.
I appreciate it. It
Yeah,
was great
absolutely.
seeing you and meeting you in person.
Dude, likewise, bro. Likewise. We're definitely going to have several of those moments this year for sure. I can feel it.
Most definitely. Hey, you was a lot taller than what I thought because you always sitting down.
Yeah.
Taller than what I thought.
Yeah, I hit a growth spurt last summer. So I just was a late bloomer, man. Just shot up. My knees grew or something last year. But yeah, dude, it was great to see you, man. Thank you for jumping in here. This is awesome.
And I just want to say I appreciate your dedication, and I thank you for coming on every Thursday. I've been coming on for a few Thursdays, and it's been amazing.
Man, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I
But,
received that. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that.
but
Yeah. Anything I can do to be of service, dude, please don't hesitate. And that goes for everybody here. That's why we do these things. That's why we do this. Everything that I do, I appreciate eBay. Thank you, man. Love you, brother. Everything that I do, I remember watching an interview. You guys can't tell. I love music. Again, just like eBay said, not Lady Gaga. I don't listen to Lady Gaga. Kiss and Metallica and Van Halen, like that's my jam. And I remember reading an interview that they did with the band members of Kiss, the leaders of Kiss, Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley. Now, when Kiss came out in the 70s, they were like, it's like no one's ever seen or anything like that before. No one's worn makeup and blood and the costumes, and nobody did what they did. And they got asked about it in an interview. Where did you guys come up with this idea? And they replied, they said, we just wanted to create what we would have wanted to see as fans of music ourselves. Like if we were to go to a concert, like what kind of concert would we have wanted to be part of? And so they went and created that. And I thought, man, that always stuck with me, not only because I really, really love music, but it's almost become a life mantra of mine. Like, what would Jesse have needed when he was at a certain point in his life, in his career, or as a real estate investor or an entrepreneur? I thought, man, you know what I really, really would have needed? I would have needed somebody that I can relate to, somebody that gets me, somebody that I can have a safe space with and share my concerns, share my thoughts, share my feelings. And learn from. And so that's why these Zooms exist. I'm really excited. I hope everybody had a really, really awesome time at Squad Up. I know I certainly had a really, really great time. I met some really, really wonderful and amazing people. As I can see a couple of you guys in here. I can't see everybody in here when I'm highlighted like this, but eBay, Devin, Emma, Spencer, dude, it's so good to see all you guys. This was awesome. We had so much fun. Oh, Bill Pace is in here. Hey, don't be telling people that, Bill. Delete that out of the comments, my friend. We can't have that getting out. No, we really had a great time, guys, and I hope you guys all had a great time as well. I'm really excited. I have taken some pretty big leaps myself this year as a result of Squad Up. I think I'll share more of that journey with you guys at a later point, but I took a leap. I took a step. I was telling Carlin this. Put a 1 in the chat. I'm curious, how many people in here have a W-2 right now? Put a 1 in the chat if you have a W-2. As a former W-2 employee, Casey, thank you for being here. Caitlin, Emma, Bill does not. There used to be a time when I left my W-2 to pursue real estate investing and entrepreneurship that I kept telling myself when I made that leap, I'm like, hey, you know what? If things don't work out the way I need them to or whatever, I can always go back. Like I've always kind of got that. I can't go back into the military, obviously, but I can go find a job. Like that was always my mentality. And after a certain point of gaining momentum, getting things figured out, you're going to pass a point of no return where you will have mentally leveled up. You'll have gained a little bit more clarity. You will have improved and elevated your skill set to where at least your basic needs are met. And then once that happens, once you experience that for the first time, you know that there's no going back. For the rest of your life, there is no going back. And that's such a huge and pivotal moment when you can jump out. You have not only your proof of concept, but you've replaced your income. Now the world is yours to go create, and it is so stinking empowering. And what I've noticed throughout my entrepreneurial journey is that not only do you experience that when you jump out of your W-2, but when you level up, each time you jump into a different level, you'll have an experience of moments where your butt kind of puckers a little bit and you're like, am I ready for this? Is this like the next level? Like this is like another, huge step. Am I, and you're going to experience all sorts of different feelings about it. But when you decide to make that leap, it's also going to be not only a shift financially, but a shift up here to where when you make that next level up, similarly, when you figure out how to replace your income, you're never going to go back to your W-2 because you've now become that type of person, the type of person who knows how to generate that type of income every month. And there's no reason to ever go back to your W-2. Similarly, when you make these different, when you hit these different milestones where you're leveling up and you're jumping into a new stratosphere, it's scary. But you know that with the things that you're going to do and these new relationships, this new momentum, this new devil, right? New level, new devil, they say. You know that you're never going to go back to doing things the way that you used to. And I just wanted to share that because all the mentors, people that I look up to, people that I've learned from, they've never shared this type of stuff in real time with me. It's always been they're giving me information based on where I'm at, but as they're on their own journey, like I never got to experience that with them. And so for a lot of us, it can be really interesting. I don't know about you guys, but for me, it's really interesting because you never get to understand what are the thoughts, what are the feelings of somebody that I look up to as they're leveling up. What are their worries? And so I realize again, everything is done from the perspective of like, what would the younger Jesse have needed to hear? So a lot of the things that I share with you guys, I hope you guys appreciate it because I know that the younger Jesse would have definitely appreciated it and been able to hear some of the things that I'm going through right now. And the ways that I'm growing, the ways that I'm stretching myself. And it's the coolest thing. And I just wanted to share this with you guys because this is going to be a moment in time where I like to share my journey as much as possible. You're definitely going to see things change drastically, like really, 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 really drastically over the next 12 months. So I love that we're able to take advantage of the time that we have right now together and help bring you guys along for the journey any way that I can. Spencer, what's up, buddy? Dude, so good to see you, bro.
Having a fabulous day. Never got to ask you to squat up, and this just where the conversation's at leads right into it. How would you define shortly and quickly your Mount Everest?
Oh, dude, I was actually journaling on this before squat up. Can I read you my journal?
Sure.
Okay. What a great question. Let me find it real quick. Okay, I'm just going to read you the way that I wrote it. Okay. And then I'd love to get your thoughts on it. I'm not just talking about teaching people how to make money. I'm talking about reshaping the distribution of wealth itself. I am attacking the root of the problem. Most people never unlock their full potential because they don't understand their value. They don't develop high caliber skills and they don't shift their identity to match the level of success they want. What I'm building isn't just a real estate coaching business. It's a movement. I'm creating the systems, the frameworks, and the mindset shifts that will help millions of people recode their beliefs around money, self-worth, and success so they can step into the version of themselves that is capable of reaching the top 1%. Most people try to change their circumstances without first changing themselves. They chase tactics. They chase short-term wins. But the real solution isn't in the tactics, it's in the transformation. My mission is to give people the playbook for personal evolution so they become the kind of person who naturally attracts and sustains wealth. The Growth Co. isn't just about scaling real estate businesses. My book I'm writing isn't just about success principles. And my TED Talk I'm giving isn't just about motivation. They're all about one thing: rewiring people's entire operating system so they can step into their highest potential, financially, professionally, and personally. And it's my goal to successfully double the number of people in the 1% wealth bracket. It's not just about more people getting rich. It's about redistributing influence, power, and opportunity into the hands of people who might have otherwise never had the chance. That's my Mount Everest.
Jesse, that is beautiful.
Man, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that.
So what do you feel like is your next step? You have it so beautifully and clearly defined.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
And
Thank you.
Squat Up
Thank you for
touched
your
on
comments.
so much of that and addressed so much of that. That's
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, next steps, dude, I got to get out of Alaska more. So we'll be doing a lot of stuff over the course of this year. You know, I would love to see more of you guys in person and have more of these in-person interactions. You know, we'll be putting events on and having tons of opportunities for people who are looking to make that transformation. In my experience, you have a lot of people, and this isn't just real estate, by the way, but because we're all real estate investors in here, the things that people focus on right now are really, really a lot of the times they're really, really low level things. Now, they're not things that necessarily don't have to be done, but here's what I kind of want to address. So I'm going to use kind of a military metaphor here because I was 15-year Air Force. Now, I don't know how many people know the difference between officer and enlisted, but you can join the Air Force as an officer or enlisted, and it doesn't matter. Hear me out on this, guys. Listen to me. Close your eyes and just listen to this for a second. We all grew up in all sorts of places all around the world. We all grew up in different circumstances. Some of us were bullied. Some of us were popular. Some of us had money. Some of us didn't. Some of us, it was appropriate to talk about money. Others, it wasn't. Some of us we've all got different strengths. We've all got different skill sets. We all have different untapped and unlocked potential that we have yet to uncover. And despite all of that, you can join the military as an officer, and you can take on different tasks, different responsibilities. You can take on leadership in a completely different way. You have to, your standards are expected to be much more elevated. The way you communicate, the way that you carry yourself, the way that you strategize is all going to have to be very, very different as compared to somebody who joins enlisted. And the way that I think about this, I would assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, if there's anybody in here who is the exception to this, please let me know. But I would assume most people in here are here because they want to elevate themselves. They want to grow a business. They want to have impact. They want to have wealth. They want to be a CEO. They're probably not in here because they want to work for somebody. Now, if I'm wrong about any of that, please feel free to correct me. You want to be an owner, but the things that you're doing, it's almost the equivalent of you wanting the status. I'm using status very loosely here, but the status and everything else that comes with being an officer. But the things that you spend your time on is that of what an enlisted person would spend their time on. So you want to fly the aircraft, you want to be Top Gun, you want to be Maverick, yet you're the one that's changing the wheels. You're the one that's getting oils all over your fingers. You're getting hydraulic fluid all over your skin. You're the one that's doing all the sheet metal work. You're doing all the riveting. And it takes just as much time, energy, and effort to be a good enlisted person as it does to be a good officer. But they're completely different skills. They're completely different mindsets. And it takes the same amount of time, energy, and effort to go make 10 grand a month as it does to make 100 grand a month. But most people are focused on the enlisted side of things. They're the worker bees. And it takes just as much time, energy, and effort to be good at your job as an enlisted person, whether you're in avionics, whether you're a crew chief, whether you're in fuels, whether you're in medical, as it does to go be a really, really great officer. It takes the same amount of time, energy, and effort with drastically different results, drastically different pay scales. But most people are focused on the enlisted side of things when they need to be focused on here. And so all of this to say, to bring this boat back into the harbor, to slap a bow on this real quick, it doesn't matter what your experience is. It doesn't matter how many deals you've done. It doesn't matter what your mindset is or whether you think you're worthy or not. Everybody has the capability and the ability to go the officer route or go the enlisted route. And there's a lot of people that have potential to be great officers. Now, I hope you guys, is everyone picking up the metaphor that I'm dropping here? Of course, when I say I'm using a metaphor here, but when I say officers, I'm talking about people that want to be leaders, people that want to be business owners, people that actually want to be making fucking money. Everybody has the ability to go be a really, really great officer. But because of limiting beliefs, how they grew up, whatever it is, they decide to go the enlisted route. They believe that they have to suffer, that they have to work hard. I mean, you do got to work hard. I'm not downplaying. You got to work hard, but harder than you need to. In the military, we used to have a term called embracing the suck. And it's not just the military. Some people bring that mindset with them. I've just got to embrace the suck. I've just got to grind. I've got to put in all these long hours. I've got to work long time and not get paid. What you're missing is a strategy. What you're missing is somebody to sit here and tell you, stop doing that. Let's take an officer route. Let's do a time and energy audit, and let me show you what you're focusing on right now and why you're literally not making money. You want to be up in the air flying, and we're sitting here messing around with, the rivet gun, shooting rivets in this. There's other people for that. That's where their skill set is. So again, just like the military, now I'm not doing a metaphor anymore, just like the military, anybody, regardless of where you are in the world, whatever your background is, whatever your circumstances are, whatever your limiting beliefs are, you can join the military and you can choose to go officer, or you can choose to go enlisted. And they're going to have very, very drastic different results. But most people in here, I would venture a guess, are wanting to be Top Gun. I want to be Maverick and Goose. But instead, they're, by choice, putting themselves in the position of being the extra on the film set that's changing the tire. So part of my goal, and the reason I'm writing my book and doing the things that I'm doing, is because I shared with you a little bit about my limiting beliefs, how I grew up thinking about money and failure and business and what I'm capable of. Dude, I was the guy growing up. I was not comfortable being in the front. I was behind my friends. If I had to go do anything by myself, as a matter of fact, when I joined the military, do you know how scared I was to join the military because I didn't have there wasn't going to be a group of friends in high school that were going with me that I could just kind of hide behind when I got there? You know how scared I was? I had to go do this by myself and I had to be seen and I had to figure out things. And I didn't have a friend that was sitting next to at a desk right next to me that I could say, hey, what's the answer to number 2? I had to take ownership now. I had to start thinking for myself. I had to start making decisions. You know how uncomfortable that made me? And I think that there's a lot of other people that probably feel or grew up maybe in a similar fashion, although we're not walking in each other's shoes identically. There's probably a lot of people I would imagine that grew up in a similar way, thinking about failure and risk and money and debt and all these other kind of things, what they're capable of. And they didn't have anybody to sit down here and say, hey, you know what? Let me just plant this seed. Let me just kind of sprinkle some shit on the ground real quick. Let me just plant this seed for you. And I don't want you to do anything more other than let that seed kind of germinate and grow inside that head of yours. And the only thing I want you to ask yourself is, what if? What if? What if it was actually possible? What if I didn't have to work a W-2? What if I could actually go out and make more money? What if I could create and create a legacy for my posterity after me? What if? Now, I was fortunate enough that a friend of mine, a childhood friend, we hadn't spoken in 15, 20 years, reached out to me about 5.5 years ago. And for me, he was the one that planted that seed. He invited me onto a Zoom with a couple other real estate investors, and I got to hear how they were all working together, how they were making money. And they were doing it leveraging other people's money, debt, and credit. And I was like, oh my gosh, that right there, that Zoom was the thing that planted the seed for me. And I thought, why not me? What if I could actually do this? What if this was actually possible? And to see what I've created for myself, what I've done for others, how I've impacted my family and my children, my parents. Dude, my parents told me not to get out of the Air Force. My parents were like, 15 years, are you stupid? I had colonels, retired colonels, telling me to not get out of the Air Force. But you know what? I can't hand over that. And that's the hard part about being an entrepreneur is I can't hand over my prescription glasses and let the colonel and let my parents and let my friends and my coworkers all see my vision. I remember a retired colonel said, 2 weeks before I was supposed to get out, he said, Jesse, you really need to think about this. He said, most people make $600,000 over the course of their life in retirement. I wanted to take my glasses off and show him what $600,000 a month looked like. All of this to say, that's my mission. My mission is to take and help people just like every single person in here and give you the support, give you the tools, give you the resources, give you the love, give you the strategy, share my wins and my losses so you can step into that person that you're capable of becoming. Each one of you guys have an advantage over every single person on this planet. There's 8 billion people on this planet, and each one of you guys have an advantage over 8 billion people, and most people don't even realize that. Because of who you are, the way that you think, the skills, the strengths, the mindset, your own world experiences, they're so unique to you. And because of those experiences, they give you an advantage over everybody. I held a mastermind last Thursday, which was really, really awesome. And one of the first things that I shared with everybody during my talk was I said, your opportunities will always be limited by your ability to recognize them. But if you don't choose to go the officer route and you choose to go the enlisted route, you're equally as capable of going the officer route. But because that is where your perspective is, that is where your intention is set, think about all of those opportunities you're missing. And your worldly experiences and your skill set and the way that people gravitate towards you. Every single person has an advantage over every single person in here and on this planet. There are people that are waiting for each and every single one of you. And I say this with all the love. But there are people that are waiting for each and every single one of you guys to get your shit together. Now, let me make this perfectly clear. I'm not sitting here saying I have my shit together. I'm as equally as guilty as getting my shit together. We all are. No one ever has their shit together. But there's people that are waiting for you to get your shit together, to take that leap, to continue leveling up into these new atmospheres, because they're relying on you and the way that you communicate and your experiences, the things that make you unique. There are people that you will reach when you elevate yourself at different levels that you will impact. And I truly believe that you will impact people in a way that nobody else could. You will touch people in a way that nobody else could, simply because of who you are. So it's not just not knowing how to underwrite properties or where to find the good deals. That's not what's keeping you from making $1 million. Those are enlisted type questions. So my goal is to help people realize and understand that anybody is capable, regardless of how you grew up or what your circumstances are, where you're at right now, or how many deals you've done. None of that stuff matters. Everybody equally has the opportunity to go the officer route. And that is part of my Mount Everest. I want to double the amount of people in the 1%. And in order to do that, these are the types of conversations that have to have been had. These are the types of shifts that have to take place so that people start to take action differently. They start to execute differently. They start to be selfish. I love this. I think Dean Graziosi shared this. Oh, we were at Squad Up, and he was talking about a conversation he was having with Matthew McConaughey. And for those of you guys that were there, this is going to be a good reminder. And for those of you guys that weren't, write this down. He said, be selfish now. Be selfish. Be so fucking selfish. Be selfish with your time. Be selfish with your money. Be selfish with the things that you focus on. Be so selfish right now for you, so you can be selfless for the rest of your life. So I just want to pass that on to you guys. I want to express my gratitude real quick for eBay and... Oh, where'd he go? Did he jump out?
No, I'm still here.
No, not you. Oh my gosh, he jumped out. Anyway, I want to appreciate all you. I want to express my gratitude to all you guys. Thank you guys for jumping in. Was this helpful? Was this a good refresher for anybody? Was this kind of a good... Thank you. This is what I needed to hear. Oh my gosh. No, it's my pleasure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Love that, James. Thank you, bro. All right, let's see if I can pull my iPad up. Oh, Michelle, what up, fam?
Hi, I hope you had an amazing time. It sounds like you did. And I
I
just wanted to
did.
thank you because I know that there were a couple newer guys that really enjoyed your amazing downflow that you gave on Thursday. Thanks so much for doing that mastermind. It was super helpful for some guys. I've heard nothing but amazing reports from Squat Up and what you gave. And actually, I have not heard what anybody else has given other than what you've given and that you gave fire. So, way to go. The rest of it has been emotional, and you were like really hitting it hard at giving truths and facts and steps, and it was awesome. Thank you for doing that. I appreciate that. You were awesome. And I appreciate actually
Thank you.
in the last 24 hours, I've had kind of a really intense experience, and you just brought me into a place of correction, even though you didn't know it. And you also brought fire behind it with the whole comment you said, be focused on the goal and crush it. And later, there will be an overflow from that. So I so appreciate that. I really appreciate you, Jesse. You're awesome. Thank you.
Oh my gosh. Michelle, thank you. You're literally giving me goosebumps. I really appreciate you sharing that. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I received that fully. Thank you. All right, guys, I want to share something with you guys. Oh, by the way, real quick. Um, uh, Carlin, are you in here by chance? Oh no. Okay, here we go. Has everyone got a notepad and paper?
Ready to write.
All right, let's go. Okay, today we're going to go over 8 habits that will fix 98% of your guys' problems. Now, as you guys know, every time we come in here, it is what is caught, not what is taught. What does that mean? It is caught, not what is taught. It means that the things that you guys write down right now, when in the stage that you guys are at, the season in your business and your life that you guys are at, your eyes and ears right now are looking for things that your brain is working on. And so I may say something, and it may not even be what I say, but it may be something that I say, or maybe even something that somebody else puts in the comment section that gives you an idea, that sparks something. And you're like, oh my gosh, this was it. I have my idea. I have my homework. I have my next step. I have my whatever it is. And so when you guys come here, most people are more curious than they're actually committed. And so I love how you guys all show up, because that's not the case. You guys are more committed than curious. You're not here to be entertained. You're here to do the work. You're here to write something down, to take action on it, and then come back again next week. So right now, I want to focus on 8 specific habits that I want to pass down to you guys, and go over maybe a little bit of some of the mindset and implementation behind it. So does anybody know who James Clear is? I always got to remember to pop open my chat here. I always forget when I'm sharing. James Clear. Does anybody know who James Clear is? No? Okay, so James Clear is an author, and he wrote a really, really, really phenomenal book called Atomic Habits. Now, I'm sure that even though you might not know who James Clear is, I'm sure you've heard this quote before. I want you guys to write it down. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Now, somebody come off mute. What does that mean to you when you hear this? This is the part where somebody comes off mute and shares your thoughts.
I think for me, okay, so if I'm setting goals
Mm-hmm.
and I mean, below your goals, you fail to the level of your systems. Okay, all right. So now if I don't have good systems in place, if I have goals that don't match the systems that I have in place, then that's how I'm not reaching my goals, because I don't have good systems in place. And I struggle with that already. So it's just a constant, challenge.
Sure. What does that mean to have the right systems in place? What do you mean by that?
It's a
You want me to give you an easy example and then you can expand on it?
Sure.
Okay. So I am one of the things that I am trying to do is just get really, really shredded. Like Arnold, trying to look like Arnold. Maybe not quite, a little bit. And right now, if I get home from the gym or as soon as I start to break my fast, like I have this really, really big goal of getting really, really jacked and really, really ripped. But when I come home from the gym or when I go to break my fast, I'm really, really hungry. I've been fasting for 18, 19 hours at that point when I break my fast. I know, and maybe like most people, I guess, I know that when I'm hungry, usually what I would do if I don't have anything ready and prepped, then what I'll do is as soon as noon hits, I'll go into my pantry. I'll go to see what I have. I'll maybe look in the fridge, notice I got some chicken or something. So I'll throw some chicken in the microwave. And as it's warming up, dude, I'm starving. I'll grab a handful of goldfish. Maybe I'll get a little bit into my kids' cheese puffs. Maybe I'll grab a granola bar or something. And in those 2 or 3 minutes that I'm waiting for my chicken and my broccoli and everything else to kind of warm up in the microwave, I'm already kind of stuffing my face with a bunch of shit. And so what do you think is an example in order? I've got this big goal, but according to you, Jesse, that's not the problem. Okay, so I've got this goal. So it's not rising to my goals. That's the problem. I'm falling to the level of my systems. So I got this big goal that's going to require me to be in a caloric deficit in order to get shredded. So when I'm hungry, if I don't have anything prepared, that's what I'm falling down to.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm resorting to.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we fix that? What kind of a system do we put in place? Well, I started food prepping.
I was going to say,
So I'd go and get a rotisserie chicken every single Sunday. I get 2 rotisserie chickens, and I pull that thing apart, and I start meal prep and start putting them in containers. I'll go buy a couple bags of sweet potatoes and a couple bags of frozen broccoli, and then every Sunday I will throw those in the oven, and I will bake them, put a little bit of seasoning on them, and just put everything into containers. So as soon as my window for breaking my fast is up, I've already got a system in place. Now here, I want you guys to write this down. Your systems, the things that you put in place, whether that's personal, like I just described, it could be something that gets done in your business. We have these systems in place Because when you have these specific systems in place, you want it to where things are automatic. And what I mean by that is you want it to where your systems are in place and they're so dialed in that your success now just becomes inevitable. You're not exhausting yourself from mental fatigue. You don't have to make so many decisions. And it's crazy. We talked a little bit about, I shared a little bit, as I came back, I'm in this season of my life right now where I will be leveling up drastically. If you pay attention, watch the next 12 months are going to be crazy, crazy different. You guys are gonna be like, oh, I remember on April 3rd, Jesse said that this was going to happen. I've got to have these systems in place in order for me to get to each new level to where the success just becomes automatic. And so just like meal prepping, when I'm hungry, if I've already got the meal, I don't have to think. And you watch all these successful people. You ever notice how people like Bill Gates, or you could even do Dan Martell. I don't know if you guys follow Dan Martell. He's one of my coaches. Dude, that mofo wears the same blue shirt. He's bought like 1,000 of these blue shirts, and he just wears the same thing every single day. And it's so the things that he's focused on is so his craft, his systems are so automatic where he's not draining himself from any sort of mental fatigue, having to make a bunch of different decisions or anything like that. He's got one thing that he has to focus on, and he's got to bring his A game for it. So he's got these systems in place, whether that's an EA, he's got a house manager that handles all these things. So anyway, again, we don't rise to the level of our goals. You fall to the level of your systems. When you're having a bad day, what systems do you have in place that's going to continue pushing your business forward?
Is that a question?
No. I just feel free to respond in any way that you want.
Yeah, that's probably the missing link for me. Most of my systems have been more reactionary instead of better planning.
So it's been more defensive as opposed to offensive.
Yes.
Okay. I like that. I like the fact that you have clarity around that, because
But it's trial and error still, right? So I'm just going with what I try. If it works, if it doesn't work, then I pivot.
Mm-hmm. So you're tracking them.
Yeah.
Just like you would your calories, right?
Yeah.
If you're meal prepping, you're tracking them. You're weighing things. It's like, oh, okay, this is what I weigh at the end of the week. Did it get me closer, or did it get me further away? Okay. Awesome. Anything else you want to add? How would this be applicable for a real estate investor? We're all real estate investors in here. I gave you an example. I gave you a metaphor from the fitness perspective.
Sort of like when, for instance, like if I get an email from a wholesaler that says, "Hey, I got this property that's at this list." I like the example because that really put up a lot of clarity on having an automatic versus scrambling and just trying to do the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're making me think to put something more automatic, so I could like underwrite quick and then do, if it's close by, then maybe I take a drive out to see it. If not, then I just do a online analysis and underwrite, and then provide an answer. Hey, this is how much I think it's going to cost based on the condition and the pictures, blah, 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 blah. And then, respond back.
Okay. I think that'd be a great entry level system to have. What do you think the next level of that system might look like? Any idea?
Have someone else do it for me so I can focus more on focusing more on, working with someone that brings me a deal. That way I says, hey, I got a deal. Hey, Bob or Jane, could you please follow up with this and let me know what your analysis is?
Yeah. While we were at Squad Up, I moved so fast because people would ask me what my buy box is. And I would say, hey, let me get your contact information. I will send you my buy box. Let's talk about how we can collaborate together. That's a conversation I want to have. I'll have my team email you my buy box. I'll have James, and that would email James, or people would be like, hey, I've got a deal. Do you want me to text it to you real quick and have you take a look at it? I'm like, dude, here's the email. Send this to my email. My ops manager will get back with you within 24 hours. Let's talk about what next steps look like. You see how I was able to kind of push that off, and I've got a system and everything already in place where deals are getting analyzed. I don't have to be involved in it. I make the opportunity to work with me so much quicker, and we can talk about things that are next level or things that are moving the needle even faster. So these systems and processes, guys, as you guys can see, and thank you, Ron. Appreciate you, bro. Love you. Ron gave a really, really great example. Some of you guys might be doing this by yourself, and that's okay. Still, you want to create a system and a process for that. So when things happen, you already have next step, next step, next step, next step. Almost kind of have these chain of events, chain reactions. And then when you get to that next level, then it's like, okay, I need to start having somebody else come in, and I need to have somebody else do this for me. Well, what does this process look like? And as I just kind of described to you guys, it put me in a position because I have systems and processes in place to where parts of the business can run with or without me. I don't need to be there. I don't need to be involved because it's my job as the officer to focus on things that are actually going to grow the business, to focus on raising capital, which means I'm going to be connecting with rock stars who have capital. I'm going to be connecting with other people who have deals. I'm going to be finding other strategic partnerships to create and to grow. So I have all these systems in place because it doesn't matter how big my goal is. If I want to go affect millions and millions and millions of people and help double the amount of people in the 1% bracket, then I can't be doing, I can't achieve that if my entire day is spent underwriting deals. So bringing somebody else in and having systems and processes around that for those things to be handled without me, it requires a different skill set, right? Do we all got this? We all good? Clear as mud, as we used to say. All right.
I would think that some of that thought that you have, Jesse, would be beneficial for, I don't mean to say this in the incorrect way, but would be beneficial for baby boomers to transition new millennials into position by moving themselves into a GC position and letting go of some things. And that's actually what I'm working with is two gentlemen that are more baby boomer age range and helping them figure out how to create systems where they're not everything and all in one and letting go and being able to trust other people and being able to, you know, bring other people into the next position, raising
Yes.
them up to take the next position, which seems to be what Cody Sanchez is about. And I know Naomi Holmes is doing the similar thing I've noticed. So I think that's a need for us to see the baby boomers and the fact that, you know, really their season is coming to a close. And not that it's closed yet, but that there could be a downflow of wisdom, knowledge, experience, and HUDs and everything that would be beneficial for everyone.
I think you hit the nail on the head, Michelle. I couldn't agree more. When you guys will figure out like the things that the things that we're talking about right now, they're things that are required. It doesn't matter what business you're in. You can use the things that I'm giving you guys now to go build and scale a real estate business or go build and scale a bowling alley. You can go like Michelle was talking about. You can go find some of these boomers that are selling their businesses. And it's all in order to grow and scale a business. It's marketing, it's leadership, it's talent acquisition, it's putting systems and processes into place. I love that, Michelle. Thank you for sharing that.
It's not easy, but you're welcome.
Well, you do good. All right. I want to ask a question of you guys. Just things like this I noticed have helped me when people ask me these types of questions. They've really kind of helped me gain a little bit more clarity and introspect when I'm looking at myself. But I want you guys to think, if I were to come over to your house or to your place of business, and I've got my little iPhone, I bring my little iPhone over here, maybe even a couple mics. I brought a couple mics with me to squat up. That was fun doing content with those. So I come over to your place and I bring some mics and my iPhone with you, and I start filming your habits over the course of the next 30 days. Would I be able to predict your future success? I want you guys to think, write this down, like legit, write these things down, ask yourself these questions, ponder on these things. What are the habits in your life that right now they are sabotaging you from getting to the next level? I want you guys to ponder on that. While you're pondering that, we're going to hit these 8 habits. I hope today was helpful for you guys. I hope today brought some energy, some clarity, some things to consider. So thank you for participating. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for your questions. For the sake of time, we're going to have to go a little bit fast. I always forget to pull the chat out. Let me pull the chat out real quick. Okay, we're going to have to go a little fast. John, what's up, baby boy? Let's see you slide in here, man. Good to see ya.
I'm sneaky.
All right. Number one habit. Win the morning. I can't tell you guys enough how pivotal the first 60 to 90 minutes of your day is. The things that you guys do within the first 60 to 90 minutes will set the tone for the entire freaking day. John said, make your bed. Dude, I love that, bro. I love that. Yes, 100%. Make your bed. There's a psychological thing that happens when you guys do things like this. When you start tracking your wins and you start winning the morning, there's an identity shift that happens when you guys do this. Like, and I'm going to be honest. The first time I heard this, I'm like, okay, this is stupid. I've got phone calls to make. Don't be telling me about making my damn bed and how I'm going to have this miraculous change because I just made my bed. It's much, much deeper than that. As we've talked about, it's all about you. You have to change if you want results. The way that you see more opportunities and your ability to recognize and capitalize on those opportunities is going to be from the shift within here, right between the ears. So what happens when you start keeping track of your wins for the day? That could be making your bed. You know what? That could be hydrating. That could be going to the gym. It could be, setting time aside for meditation or prayer, stillness, journaling, reviewing your goals. Whatever it is, if you feel like you're not winning enough, I would really, really encourage you to start doing this. Because what's going to happen at the end of the day is you're going to see all the things that went right. And it could be as simple as making your bed. Could be as simple as brushing your teeth. Could be as simple as getting dressed and getting showered and getting your prayer in. Maybe you got scripture study that you do, whatever it is. And when you go to bed, you're going to see an entire list of freaking wins, guys. And what's going to happen is the same thought process as you start maturing and growing as an individual, as an investor, and as an entrepreneur. You're going to notice all the little things. You ever hear people talk about how you do anything is how you do everything? You can't handle the big things if you can't handle the small things. This is what they're talking about, because as you start managing and tracking all the wins that happen throughout your day, when you're not monetarily winning in the way that you would like, You're going to understand how to track in your business what's working, the growth, and how you're winning. And you're going to be able to start predicting your success from it. You're going to see all the little things that shifted. You're going to see all the systems and processes that you put into place. And you're going to be able to start predicting, and then you're going to start seeing a win, and then you're going to get another financial win, and then another financial win, and then another financial win. You want to start waking up like you're a fucking winner. Sorry, Aaron, that says win the morning. Win the morning. Okay, I want you guys to write this question down to yourself. What is the first thing that you do in the morning? What is the first thing you do when you wake up? And then I want you to follow it up with this. This is a two-part question. What's the first thing you do when you wake up? And then I want you to ask yourself, how is that serving your next level self? Just like going into the military. You can go Army, you can go officer, or you can go enlisted. Now, even when you choose to go the officer route, there's different levels, right? There's different ranks. You got your second lieutenant, then your first lieutenant, then your captain, and your major. Now, your lieutenant colonels, your colonels, and then you got your 4-star, your 1, 2, 3, and 4-star generals. So how is where you are right now? If you're still waiting to decide whether or not you want to show up as an officer, then start asking yourself, what is the first thing you do right now when you wake up? And how is that serving your ability to go from enlisted to officer? And I want you to keep these questions around. I want you to keep these questions handy because they're also going to serve you as you come in. You finally made it to the officer side of things. Congratulations. Now, what are you doing? What's the first thing that you do? And how is that affecting you going from second lieutenant to first lieutenant, which is the next level up? John, of course, you can ask a question. We're kind of limited on time, so I'm going to have to go fast here. But yeah, go ahead.
Well, real quick, I was gonna say, what if you're obviously like trying to build your business, trying to grow, trying to get people in certain positions to take care of things for you, and then you get stabbed in the back and you're forced to technically go back to dealing with enlisted stuff. I know it's kind of short term. This is kind of maybe a slightly shorter sighted question. But what do you do in those days where you're down because you're dealing with the enlisted stuff because the other people you were counting on don't come through?
You might have to give me a specific example, and it might be scenario specific, but I will tell you there's very, 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 very few exceptions. That's the word I was looking for. Exceptions where I would go from officer to enlisted. Like very few.
I mean, I can give you the example from my business and what happened recently here.
Sure.
In the remodeling contracting, I hired a guy who was showed interest in getting into a partnership with the business, and I hired him on as an employee. He was working, doing good stuff, and then basically I couldn't trust him. Found out I couldn't trust him from other employees, and figured out that, you know, if I can't trust him, I can't put him into positions that would. Sorry, I just muted myself. And basically, I had to fire him. And the other guy that I had that showed me all this stuff, another employee of mine, quit. And so I'm like, I'm in a position where we have to get things done on this house in remodeling, and these guys were doing the work, but now I'm in a position where I got to be the one enlisted, going and doing the physical work, the day-to-day stuff on this project, not to let these people down and put a bad name on my company. And definitely gonna have to be out there looking for better help.
Mhm.
And another thing that Michelle mentioned earlier is like she was talking about the baby boomers, but that they need to learn to trust other people into these positions, which is
Mhm.
something that I was trying to do here too. I was trying to trust this guy to help me manage these projects and run them and do what's necessary to take care of them. And when
Mhm.
I did, he was backstabbing me, you know? So
Mhm.
obviously I got to do a better job kind of picking out employees and potential business partners, but still,
Yep.
um, anyway, that's the position I'm in right now.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Again, volume. I think I've shared this with you before. Volume solves 99% of your problems, right? So when you are partnering with somebody, when you are hiring somebody, when you're growing your team, whatever it is, most people, as a matter of fact, I bet most people who went to the event this weekend, I bet there are teams that were formed. I bet there were partnerships that were formed. And I bet they were formed for no other reason than it was convenient or they're going through something where it created scarcity and they had to have that person. You talk to one or two people and you're like, oh my gosh, this is cool. This guy's cool or this girl's cool. And we jive, we get along. Hey, you know what? We should be in business together. And then, John, it goes back to what you were talking about where you start to have issues. And it's like, oh, I really didn't have clarity around who was it that I actually needed in my business? What was the skill set that I needed? What was the character like? What was the experience that I was looking for? What kind of track record was I looking for? What kind of references? And yeah, like John said, it could be just a misjudgment. It could be simple as that. But now you're in this predicament where you got to get things together. I'll tell you what, if I was you, and I don't know that there's necessarily that's the thing about entrepreneurship. There's no wrong answer, but there are things that have a higher ROI than other things. And that's what I'm always looking for is how, and the highest ROI is not money, it's your time. So you got people that you've got to replace now. I would be looking into the first thing what I would do is find somebody who can go uh, get applications rolling in. So you can start interviews. So yeah, the next 2 weeks maybe a grind for you. You might have some extremely long days. But I would go find somebody who can, while you're working on these projects, somebody who can start putting resumes or job listings out and collecting resumes, getting those coming in. And then over the next couple of weeks, you're going to be spending a lot of time between working on the properties and interviewing people. The very first question would be, you guys have heard me ask, you guys have heard me say this before. Whenever I'm up against something, whenever I have a goal, something that needs to get done, a deadline, whatever it is, I say, if I was able to work less, or if I'm able to insert whatever desired outcome or scenario you want, I finish that off with what needs to be true in my environment for that to happen. So I don't know how long you got left on the project. I don't know if it's a month-long project, if it's a 60-day long project, if it's a 2-week project, whatever it is. It may be one of those things where if it's a week or two, then you're just going to have to suck it up, and then simultaneously, I would be looking to find somebody else. You can go hire a VA, pay them $4 an hour, and today start having them put out job listings. Have them pull out Chat GPT, utilize, there's so many different resources you could be utilizing to having these resumes rolling in right now. So that would be my first priority. And then, you know what, as a matter of fact, I would also see if that VA, I don't know if you have, now I'm going down the rabbit hole, John. Now I'm going down the rabbit hole of, hey, you could do this in your business and you could do this in your business. I don't know if you
I'm
got somebody
sorry,
that's
man.
answering phones and blocking off your calendar and gathering bids and stuff for you, but that's something you could also have this VA doing for you.
So the next topic coming up on the growth company is this focus, right? Is that what you're saying? So you can get out of here on time?
Well, I'm here for you guys. John, we can talk about that later because you're in Alaska. We can go grab lunch or something like that. All right.
I would
Number
love that,
3.
man.
Okay, let's do it. It's a date. This one is a really, really important one. Go do something. Go sweat every single freaking day. Go move your body for 45 minutes. I give my clients something I call the 5 daily non-negotiables. This is one of them. Go sweat every single day for 45 freaking minutes. You could be going to the gym. You could go on a walk. You could do some yoga in your living room. I'll tell you what, I got this from Dan Martell. He told me, he said, we are so stressed as entrepreneurs. Anybody else relate with that? Is anybody else stressed one way, shape, or form? There's so much stress and anxiety that comes with being an entrepreneur. And when you go and sweat for 45 minutes, not only does it allow you to shift your identity, now you're forming other habits. You're forming consistency. Not only, is it healthy for your body, but when you exhaust your body, it tames your mind. So occasionally, like you'll see posts from me, I'll tag Dan in it, like a fitness post or something like that, or something on my story, and it'll say, exhaust the body, tame the mind. And I can't overstate how true that is. When we have so many things that we have going on, we don't ever take the time to make our fitness or sweating for 45 minutes every single day a non-negotiable for us. And I promise you, as I have done this, actually, one of my clients, Nathaniel, he has worked out every single day, I think, for like 500 or 600 days. Like, he has not missed a day. It is truly remarkable to see that level of dedication. Super, super cool. But again, like anything else, like whether that's making your bed or going to the gym every single day, you start to develop these habits where you follow through and you have consistency in your day. You start to gravitate towards things that are making a difference in your life and in your business, and you'll start to make those things a non-negotiable. So there's so much more that goes into this, guys, than Jesse's just telling me to go to the gym. That's not at all what I'm getting at. There's so much more that happens from making these things a daily habit and a non-negotiable. Here's one that should be pretty easy for most people. Tell the truth. Now, I'm not talking about getting on social media and lying or anything like that. I'm talking about radical honesty with yourself. Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever just kind of pretended something was working even though you knew that it was not. Pansy says yes. It's called false hope. Love that, John. Be radically honest with yourself, guys. Where are you lying to yourself about the level of effort, alignment, or progress that you should be making? How many of you are operating out of a very scarcity standpoint or from a very scarcity centered perspective? I think we all do to some degree. There's no fault in it. There's no shame in it. I think that just comes with being human. You're a human having a human experience. Give yourself some freaking grace. And a lot of times I talk to myself when I say that. When I say that to you guys, there's a lot of times I'm talking to myself. Tell the truth. Be honest with yourself. We're here to make some momentum. We're here to change lives. We're here to create impact. Let's move. Let's move quick. Let's stop telling ourselves that we're fine with just being an enlisted person when we know what our true potential is. We know what that application needs to look like in order for us to graduate and get accepted into that officer school. Pansy, what's up?
Hey, Jesse.
Hey,
So
friend.
I'm glad you hit on that being honest with yourself, because that is something that I've been asking myself and my team, my partner, um, a lot lately. Because we did that 21-day challenge of our wants,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like we were very generic about it. And I'm like, are we really being honest with ourselves and honest with what we're putting out there?
Mm.
you know?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, each day I'm digging deeper to be more honest with myself and, others. So of everything that I'm really wanting in life. And it's not just for myself, it's for others too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would put this much energy if it were just for myself. I'm giving right now, I'm giving what I got at the
Love
moment,
that.
you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I know I'm needing a lot of other things, but right now I'm giving what I have, where I
Mm-hmm.
can.
Yes.
And I believe we all do that to our best potential. That's why we all come together. That's why Pace was able to bring us all together. He's mentioned that on stage of being asked how he was able to bring all these people together. When you're like-minded and really are doing this for more than just yourself, it's going to bring the right people together.
Yes.
So I appreciate you on hitting on that. And yeah, I'm getting more honest.
Thank you. Thank you. We all should be getting more honest, honestly.
Yes.
You guys ever seen Pirates of the Caribbean? It just reminded me.
Yes.
He's like, yeah, it's the dishonest people you can trust, always be honest. Honestly.
I kind of understand that. Some people straight up will lie to you, but not really make it seem like a lie.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're being honest with their intentions, but they're really, you're not catching that. So
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you sharing your thoughts, Pansy. Thank you. It was good to
yeah.
see you, by the way. I'm glad we were able to hang out.
Yeah. I
Like
wish
you
we
made it
had a
back
little
safe and
more
sound.
time. I know I wasn't my best self, but working on that. So
Oh, we just show up with what we got, man. It was lovely meeting you. It was
yeah.
awesome.
Awesome meeting you too and everyone else. So,
There's going to be plenty of opportunities. Yeah, you're most welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that one landed for you. All right, number 5. This is a big one. Create before you consume. How many people, I can't tell you how many people I have seen talk about when you wake up, don't get into Facebook, don't get on social media. Put a 1 in the chat. Has anybody else ever heard the same thing? Like, don't check your emails when you first wake up. Don't pull out your phone. Don't get on social media. Don't do any of those things. Anybody else ever heard the same thing? Now, I had this epiphany a while ago, and I thought, I'm like, dude, that's the very first thing that I do. Like, I can't not be on my phone. But I had this epiphany, and I just want to share it with you. What I think they're talking about is don't consume. When you wake up and you pull out your phone, most people's reaction or tendency is to naturally go towards just consuming content, just reading posts, just watching videos, whatever it is. And the reason that that wasn't clear to me in the beginning, and maybe it was clear to you guys. Maybe I was the one that just completely missed what the intent of that advice
Jesse, this
was.
one hits hard right now because I've been struggling with this because I intentionally try not to go after my phone, but I feel like I've been waking up and wanting to share, but I'm like, oh, I really shouldn't grab for my phone right now.
Well, that's what I was just getting at, Pansy. I don't know.
Sorry.
No. Don't apologize. I'm glad that you led this. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. I didn't
John
mean
hit
to
the nail on the
steal your
head.
thing, so
No. This is my thing. This is our thing. This is all ours. I thank you guys for coming off mute and sharing this.
okay.
When you wake up, I think it's with the intent. If you're waking up and you're grabbing your phone with the intent of consuming information, consuming entertainment, consuming emails. The first thing I do is I wake up with the intent to create. If any of you
That
guys
was-
follow
yeah,
my social media
that
at any point, the very first thing that I do, the very first habit that I have, let me pull out my phone. Let me go look. I have read every single morning for a minimum of at least 20 minutes for now, as of today, 544 days in a row. I have not missed one day in 544 days. And that's what I love about this app is as soon as I miss it, as soon as midnight of the next day hits and I don't have it, like I can't go fix it or manipulate it. It goes right back down to zero.
What is that app?
It's just the Books app that comes standard on your iPhone.
Oh, I don't have an iPhone.
Oh, well, you should get one.
It's coming soon.
So what I do is if any of you guys follow my social media, you've seen, you know that the very first thing that I do is I plop my AirPods in my ear. When I'm still laying in bed, my alarm goes off and then I reach for my AirPods. It's the very first thing that happens. And I put on an audiobook. And then a lot of times, if I hear something while I'm getting dressed, I'm getting ready for the gym, I hear something on that audiobook, I'll screen record it and I will share it to my stories. Or if I hear a quote, or maybe I'll just take a screenshot of it and share it. Like I put tons of content out. Probably the majority of my content that I put out is one of the very first things that I do when I wake up. But I'm productive with it and I'm intentional with it. I create with it and I don't consume. So I just wanted to pass that along. If there's anybody else that does the same thing, just make sure that it is in a way where you are creating and you are not consuming. Because if you find yourself consuming, now we've hit a problem. All right, number 6. This is a huge one for me. I would have arguably, I probably should have even put this one at number 1. Protect your time like it is your wallet. Contrary to popular belief, my friends, it is not money that is our most valuable asset. It is your time. And like I was talking about earlier, each one of you have been endowed with a gift, a skill. There are things about you that are so unique that you're missing out on because you don't have clarity around it. That's the path of least resistance. That's what you guys should be monetizing. It's your gift is the thing that you do at your best with the least amount of effort. That is what you should be making money freaking doing. That is what your entire business operations should be centered around. The thing that you are good at better than anybody else. And those are the skill sets that you grow. The habits, your abilities that you cultivate should be around your gift. That is the path of least resistance. That is the fastest way to make money. And we have clarity around that is, you'll know what you'll be able to charge for your time. You'll know what an hour of your time is worth. Okay, calendar blocking, setting boundaries, saying no to tasks that are not a priority, things that are not a money-making freaking activity. Let's say a stranger was going to steal your wallet. How many of you would be okay with that? Yet, you allow so many strangers to steal your time, and you're perfectly fine with that. Is this landing for anybody? I'll be the first one to tell you. That was a huge realization for me. Because I used to jump on a phone call with anybody and everybody. As soon as somebody sends me a DM, I'm like, boom, let me send you a Zoom link. Now, I'm not saying don't help people. What I'm saying is you have to be very protective of your time. And if it's not in alignment with what you're trying to do, then you should be saying no to 10 times more than you're saying yes to. You must protect your time as if it is your own wallet. I don't see enough people doing this. Asking for help. I am a huge question asker. I ask a lot of questions. If any of us connected at Squad Up, then you know I ask a lot of questions. I made the entire conversation about you. And I'm really good at asking for help. In my opinion, in my experience, I want you guys to write this down. I think that resourcefulness, I really hit big on, especially if you're a client, you guys know. I hit really, really big on resourcefulness. Because that's the thing that makes money. It doesn't take money to make money. Contrary to popular belief, my friends, believe it or not, it does not take money to make money. What it takes is resources, resourcefulness. And that means that you have to become a person of resource. Write this down. I think resourcefulness is more important than knowledge. Write down resourcefulness is more important than knowledge. Now, why would I say that? Because just like an officer, if you want to get this plane in the air, most people's tendency is to go out and refuel it, hook a generator up to it, do all the maintenance on it, swap the tires on it. But if you're resourceful and you can find somebody who has the skill set around the fuel systems, and you can show them by us working together and getting this plane in the air, this is how we're going to make money. This is how I can help you make money. This is how I can help you escape your W-2. This is how I can help you grow your family or feed your family. It's how I can help you personally grow and professionally grow. Go find somebody who's a crew chief. Go find somebody who specializes in avionics systems and weapons systems. Go find somebody who specializes in stealth capabilities. You as the officer do not need to be doing all those things. You, as a matter of fact, you don't even need to know anything about any of those things. As it pertains to the maintenance side of things, of course you do as a pilot. Understanding and getting really, really good at becoming resourceful is way more important than knowledge. This is why it's so important. I've invested $100,000 into myself, into my own education, into higher level rooms. And you know what? I didn't always have the money, especially in the beginning. I didn't always have the money. But where most people said, I don't have the money, I can't figure it out, I'm not ready, I haven't done my first deal, I haven't, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I went out and made it happen. I became resourceful. This is where mentors and coaches, having a team, friends, all those things come into play. Stop trying to do it alone. Ask for help. Who do you already know that has the answer that you're looking for right now? I love that, Tammy. Tammy said, I've always said, even though you can, doesn't mean you should. Who do you guys know when you audit your business, whatever your bottleneck is right now, who do you know that already has the answer? Now, I run a lot of Zooms throughout the week. And a lot of times I give an opportunity to do some Q&A. You know how many people are struggling in their business and they don't raise their hand and ask for help? When you see how little people are willing to do, everybody looks at everybody as competition. But when you see how little people are willing to do for themselves, you'll start to realize this. It is so much easier to get ahead of everybody else because of how little they're willing to do, or how little they're willing to ask for help, how little they're willing to invest in themselves. So if you want to get ahead, these things are some of the biggest habits that have changed my entire life. Okay, number 8. This is going to be a good one. This is a good reminder for everybody. Boom. Audit yourself weekly. Put a 1 in the chat if you've gotten some clarity today. Put a 1 in the chat if there's anything that either me or anybody else that came off mute has shared or said in the comments that gave you some clarity on something, that gave you a different perspective, that gave you a paradigm shift. I was like, oh yeah, I never thought about it like that before. I've never considered things like that. Write this down, guys. Self-awareness is your ultimate growth tool. Self-awareness is your ultimate growth tool. Okay? Weekly journaling. You guys don't need necessarily do daily, but weekly journaling needs to be a must. You need to be doing KPI reviews. You need to be looking at what worked and what didn't work. What do you need to change? Some of you guys are operating in your business where you are busy, you're doing mundane tasks, and you're not tracking any of it. Some of you guys are making decisions for your business that are subjective. Some of you guys are operating off of your feeling about a certain thing. You know, I feel like we should do this. I really think that this would be the better way to go about it. And you literally have no data to go off of. Again, how you do everything is how you do, or how you do anything is how you do everything, right? You can't handle the small stuff or the big stuff. You can't handle the small stuff. So start out right now with everything that you're doing. Start auditing, set time aside. Especially if you guys have, put a 2 in the chat if you guys have business partners. Anybody in here have a business partner? Put a 2 if you have a business partner. Okay, so what you guys need to do, for everybody who's writing a 2, you need to set 1 day a week aside. I do mine on Sunday evenings at 8 p.m. Eastern time. Set 1 hour aside. And with your business partner, you're going to kind of do a weekly audit. You're not only going to audit your business, but audit yourself as well. Okay, I like to call this closing the loop. You can even write this down. Audit yourself. Closing the loop. I can't tell you how many times in my business, guys, where there were so many times where we're like, all right, this is what we're going to focus on. This is what we're going to do. This is what the week's going to look like. And we never closed the loop on it. We never spent time talking about, hey, what worked? What were the KPIs? What were the metrics? What reports do we need to look at so we can make decisions moving forward? When we went and raised capital, how much of this worked? What was the strategy behind it? How many people did we talk to? What was the feedback that we got? What were the questions that we were asking? Were we talking about ourselves the whole time? Were we not talking about ourselves the whole time? Start managing your KPIs. Start tracking your data so you can start shifting your business to make objective decisions and not just based off of, well, this is how I feel, this is what I think. Now, like if you reviewed your week, like, like a football coach reviews, game footage or something, what would you find? If you were to go back and to re-watch your entire week, just like a coach does at a football game, basketball game. Kobe Bryant used to obviously review tons and tons and tons of footage because he's looking for data. He's looking to see where he can adjust. So it takes time. Make sure you guys are doing this regularly. I would advise doing it at least weekly. Now, with your guys closing the loop that you guys are doing with your business partners, this is where accountability comes in. This is where each of you need to have a very defined role, and each of you have to have very specific things that each of you are working on throughout the week. This is what we're trying to achieve as an objective, as a team, as a collective, as business partners. Here's what you're going to do throughout the week. Here's what I'm going to do throughout the week. And what each of us are going to do throughout the week is going to be based off of data, KPIs, and objective decisions based on things that happened the week prior. Does this make sense to everybody? We tracking? Okay. Now I want you guys, somebody come off mute. Let's wrap this thing up. Well, I guess I got about 10 minutes before my next meeting I push back. Come off mute. Tell me which habit, one of these habits, if you mastered it, would create the biggest domino effect in your life or your business right now. Let's kind of open up the dialogue a little bit and allow us to kind of learn from each other. Yeah, Tammy, please.
My biggest one is time. I got to do better with my time.
Tell me more.
Well, I've been narrowing down, like sometimes I would just do things even though I didn't want to do them and they didn't help me. I would just do it because maybe other people wanted to do it. So I've kind of fine-tuned that over the last week. And so I feel like I've at least kind of got some focus. So now I just need to do a better, better with my time. Like I go to my sister's and I spend too much time over there on stupid little things that I don't need to do. And so consequently, by the time I get back here, I don't even end up going to bed. So just, I need to kind of fix that.
What do you think you're going to do to fix that?
Well, it's going to require, like with my sister, things have to be different with her because like she doesn't think like normal people. So like she'll take forever on mundane tasks and I just sit there and let her do it. So for me, I basically need to like change how I do my day, which I'm actually working on fixing some things that need to get out of the way so that this way I can set certain times aside in order for me to balance. So something may have to sacrifice at that time, but I'm just going to have to move it somewhere else. So I think if I can kind of like rearrange my schedule, I think that's valuing my time.
Yes. Awesome. Love to hear that, Tammy. Well, if you need any help with that, you know who to call.
Yes, for sure.
Ghostbusters.
Jesse Busters.
Appreciate you. Thank you for sharing that. What's going on, my brother? How you doing, man?
Which one? There's so many.
Oh, Yosio. I don't know if he knows I picked on him.
Oh, hey, what's up? How you doing,
What's
my
up,
brothers?
dog? How are you? It's good to see you.
Likewise, man. Appreciate you for everything, my brother. I want to say, I need help with seven. Just asking for help a lot of times. A lot of times, I've heard there's a lot of times in the Zoom right now. uh, to do this with other people. I tend to do this by myself sometimes. Try to become a one-man team. Try to do everything myself, but yeah, I just need to stop doing that and stop trying to control everything and just work with people.
Why do you think you haven't yet?
I'll be real with you. Since I was young, I've just always been like that. Like I don't like bothering people. If I ask you once and you don't do something, it bothers me to ask you the second time. So it's just like, forget about it. I'll do this shit myself.
I feel like I can resonate with that. I bet tons of other people in here can resonate with that as well. What skill set do you think you're missing by robbing yourself of the opportunity to go find somebody who doesn't need to consistently be asked over and over and over?
It's definitely hindering me. It has hindered me a lot in the past, and it's hindering me going forward with myself. So,
what do you need help with? Is it accountability? To make sure that you go find somebody to come in here and help you with that stuff?
uh, maybe, yeah, no.
Okay. Well, you tell me if it is.
Like this is my first time around, so it's like I'm figuring things as I go, and that it all goes back to that, to asking for help. I guess it's just linking up with somebody that knows what they're doing, for I could mimic, I guess, or have an idea of what it looks like, for I could, till I feel comfortable, if I could do this on my own eventually down the line.
I had somebody reach out to me, and they were a realtor somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. I don't remember if it was Washington or Oregon, one of those two states. And they were a realtor, and they had like 10 to 15 leads coming in per day. And he said, Jesse, the reason why I wanted to jump on a call with you is I needed to know, now he had 10 to 15 leads coming in per day that were real estate agent leads. Like, it's not like they were investor leads. And there are people, potentially wanting to sell their property. And he says, Jesse, I need to understand what I need to put in my script for my VA to start pitching creative finance. And then I need to understand how to close these deals so I can do like these live transfer calls. You following me so far?
Right.
So I said, do you want me to help you solve your problem, or do you want me to tell you what I would do? And he's like, well, I want to hear what you would do. Like, I want the shortcut. I said, okay. I said, you're thinking about this too hard. I said, you're doing too much. Stop it. I said, what you need to do is you need to go find somebody who is a designated closer, and you need to have them tell you how to solve that problem. I said, you need to go find, there's all sorts of Zooms, all sorts of Facebook groups around creative finance. I'm like, dude, go interview 30 people that are closers that know how to do creative finance, that are looking to join a team. Since you've got the leads, you're the man. And in that interview, I would say, hey, this is the bottleneck that I have. This is what's going on. I need my VAs to better understand creative finance and what needs to go into the script so I can do a live transfer call and yada, yada, yada. Explain to them what that scenario looks like, and then say, hey, off the top of your head, what are maybe 2 or 3 things that you're seeing that if I hired you, we could be implementing and doing differently to be able to solve this problem? And you'll start finding people that know how to solve these problems. So being that officer, going that officer route, it's a different set of skills, right? You're not spending all your time, energy, and effort on the phones. You're not spending all your time, energy, and effort underwriting. You're not spending all your time, energy, and effort managing crap in the CRM. And here's the thing, anybody can do this. Anybody can do what I'm telling you guys. You have to be the one to make the decision and say, I'm tired of tolerating the results that I'm getting. And I'm going to start limiting the amount of shit that I'm willing to tolerate. And here are the skill sets that I'm going to cultivate and to grow, and that I'm going to focus on. And here's where I'm going to prioritize my time and energy. So you can see just in that quick example how much we overthink as humans. And it's not our fault. Like we take this W2 mentality, we take this W2 mindset with us into our business, and then we're like, oh, we've got to be the ones working on things. But you can see in just a couple different examples, Yosio, where I showed you, here's what you can do, not only from a strategic standpoint by having somebody else come in here, but I also gave you a couple examples in what I would do or how I would phrase something in an interview that would disqualify or qualify somebody immediately. Because talent acquisition is as the officer in your business, talent acquisition is your responsibility. So if you don't want to hire the wrong people, then you have to ask better questions. So I gave you a couple examples on how I would phrase something or how I would open up that dialogue to start extracting whether or not this person is the person that's going to solve my problem. I don't need to know it all.
Thank you for that, my brother.
Yeah, you're welcome. So when are you going to go hire somebody?
I don't even think I've been nowhere position yet to hire.
You didn't think you were going to raise your hand and get away without any kind of an accountability or homework, did you?
Nah, not at all.
Okay, who do you got to hire, bro? Who do you need?
Guess I got to sit down and talk with you a little bit more in depth of that with you.
Well, off the top of your head, you've got to know something that you're doing that is not the highest value of your time or energy.
Like,
are you underwriting? Are you calling? Are you managing operation stuff? Are you submitting offers to agents and calling sellers? Or like, what are you doing that you know you shouldn't be doing?
the only thing I'm doing that out of everything you mentioned is the underwriting. I'm not doing that. But everything else, I'm calling, doing offers, phone calls.
Okay, so why don't you go find a closer? You know that I run Zooms inside of Sub 2 every Friday, right? That teaches people how to pitch creative finance and close and negotiate.
Okay. I just recently started paying into my thing, and I think Mike Lay is the one who runs that, and I got to get my credentials to log into my account to get into that thing again.
So make that priority, and then come in on Friday, tomorrow. I'll highlight you and say, hey, this gentleman's looking for somebody to come in and close leads in his business. He's already got leads. And then every single Friday, just let your team come in on Friday and I'll train them. I'll train them how to negotiate. I'll train them how to close.
Copy. I'm on it. So
cool.
After the phone call closes, I got to call them anyway. So yeah.
All right, baby. All right, get after it, man. I love you. I appreciate you.
I love you too, my brother. You're ready.
Thank you, man. All right, guys. We are out of time. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I have something really, really exciting that I'm going to share with you. The last time we did this, it was a huge, huge hit. We are... Ooh, I don't even know if I should announce it right now. How many people in here are trying to get really, really good at capital raising? Put a 1 in the chat if you're trying to get good at capital raising. Myself and one of my all-time BFFs were talking this morning. And we were talking about doing some more capital raising stuff for you guys. Would that be helpful? Show you guys how to do it. Create a room for you guys to come in and ask for help. Okay. So we're going to do this. We are going to do this. If you guys can do something for me, either go make a post, share it in your story, and tag me in it. And I'm going to start creating a list. Everybody who tags me in it, I'm going to start creating a list. And you guys are going to get, I'm going to reach out to you when we have, this will probably be within the next couple weeks that we'll start doing this. So you guys will have first dibs. Go create a story or a post. Say, hey, anybody who's looking to raise capital, you need to get in on this. There's going to be a big surprise that Jesse is putting on. Tag me in it, and I will go add you to the list, the exclusive list, and you guys will be the first people that I reach out to. We're going to have lots of fun. This is going to be a huge year. I'm leveling up. You guys have heard my Mount Everest. Who's going to help me achieve my Mount Everest? Who's going to help me achieve my Mount Everest? My Mount Everest is to double the amount of people in the 1%, which includes you guys. I invite you guys who help me. Like by helping me, you're helping yourselves. Do you guys understand that? Let's go. Let's freaking go.
Let's fucking go. We got
Let's
this.
go, girl. By helping me, you're helping yourselves. Let's go. You cannot freaking lose. This is my life freaking mission. Okay, let's go. Show up. Let's be intentional. All right, guys. I'm 2 minutes late for my next meeting. I love you all. We did 2 hours today. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you all. I love each and every one of you. There isn't anything that I would not do for you. I hope this was a great use of your guys' time. Let's go be intentional and have a great rest of your guys' week. See you guys later.